According to an article on Screen Rant, there is some serious talks that is happening with Marvel and Chris Evans for him to reprise his famous role, his iconic role as Steve Rogers, aka Captain America. The die-hard actor, 65, was pictured entering and leaving a California pharmacy without face covering on Monday. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on when you are tuning in. My name is Jonathan Torres-Herrera, and you are watching or listening to the JTH show. Today, let's talk about the return of Captain America, allegedly. Bruce Willis is called out for no masking, and police tend to hate more, allegedly, on the left. But first, roll the intro. All right, welcome back to the show. It is nice to finally feel like we're getting some traction on here. And when I say we, of course, I'm doing these now regularly with our co-host here, Josh.
Hello, nice to be back.
It is very nice to be back. So first, make sure we remind everybody that you guys can listen to any of our episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Radio Public. And on top of that, please, if you can take a moment to just hit that like button, it helps us show so much. You have no idea if you're watching, of course, on YouTube. And for that matter, let me remind some of you guys that you can go to the link tree down below in the description on YouTube. You can find all of our platforms that we're being hosted on, including all of our podcasts. So if you don't want to type anything up, go to that link tree and it'll open up pretty much everywhere we exist on the web. Okay, let's jump into the first story, and that is one that has a lot of nerds excited, and that includes me. And that is the possible return of Captain America. More importantly, Chris Evans, Captain America, right? Because it could always be that they say Captain America, and it's somebody completely new, taken on the road. But no. According to an article on Screen Rant, there is some serious talks that is happening with Marvel and Chris Evans for him to reprise his famous role, his iconic role as Steve Rogers, aka Captain America. Now, I should add on here that there is allegedly a tweet that is coming from Chris Evans himself with a little emoji, kind of like news to me, which, I was talking with Josh here right before the show started. And, to me, by the way, it always feels like a lot of these, big entertainment companies and even in government, they'll throw things out there, right, to the web, and just to see kind of like how it sticks against the wall, see what reaction there is, which we have a theory as well over probably how not well, so to speak, the idea of Falcon taking on the mantle, right, of Captain America. But anyways, as far as the article, before we get into that theory, is according to this, as of yet, it is unclear what the MCU project Evans Captain America could be returning for, but it could be either a movie or a TV show, since Marvel Studios is branching out into the realm of television with the premiere of WandaVision tomorrow, meaning tomorrow, Friday, because we're filming this on Thursday. Now, the idea here, of course, is that it has to be something with the multiverse, as the article also states, because the Captain America that we saw last was a old retired Captain America, right? Who, very famously or infamously for some geeks out there, where, he hands over the shield to Falcon. I say infamously because I remember reading so much over how many people were upset because, why didn't he give it to Bucky instead of Falcon, blah, 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 blah. So what could it be? Could it be that now they're really going to go into this whole multiverse? Possibly. I mean, we are seeing what's happening through some of the clips and some of the previews are showing us with WandaVision and how maybe she is in this type of universe herself, when she's like jumping through all these different eras. So it could be that we're going to see a Chris Evans that is also somewhere among those universe. So, that could be it, or it could be what I originally have always said about, cash cows, right? That some of these entertainment companies, including actors, are like, man, yeah, I'm gonna totally say goodbye to these characters. I don't ever want to come back to them. I'm done with them. Christian Bale has said that with his Batman. We have had now Robert Downey Jr. say that with his Iron Man, and now we have Chris Evans with Captain America. And what do we see? Well, funny enough, just like this article also mentions, we have had people like Michael Keaton, who was like, oh, I was Batman once, and I'm done being Batman, right? Tobey Maguire, I'm done being, the Spider-Man. And then this same article says, by the way, everybody should be aware that everybody I just mentioned will be coming back to reprise their roles. Why? Because pockets dry up.
Cha-ching.
Right? That's what it is. Pockets dry up, and they're like, oh, I want to, leave this, I don't know, like this character and this, I don't know, glorious, image now that everybody has over this character. Again, a little bit like Captain America and Iron Man have, but in a couple years, maybe even a decade, to be fair, just like Michael Keaton, he realizes, oh shit, there's so many more kids that don't know who the hell I am. I'm still alive, and those pockets are getting dry. I used to really like that Batman money, and now Michael Keaton's like, yeah, no, I'll totally do it again. And in my opinion, that's what's going to happen with Iron Man. That's what's going to happen. And it's happening probably here with Captain America, right? With Chris Evans, even though he has that whole like news to me emoji tweet. They like the money. I don't think it's so much that they love the craft. Maybe they do. I don't know that they so much do it for the fans. Maybe they do. I mean, we live in different worlds sometimes, our audience and myself. In my head, I think it's mainly about that chick-ching.
Right. Of course it is. I mean, think about it like this. I like to think of those kind of movies as like, I'm not a massive fan, but you have to enjoy them for what they are. You don't go to see these movies because it's The Lobster. You know what I mean? It's not The Lobster and Champagne movie. It's more like... It's like the McDonald's movie. You have to enjoy it for what it is. You don't go to McDonald's expecting lobster. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you just have to enjoy it. Sometimes a bit of junk food's fine. It's fine. We'll enjoy it. I mean, I'm not supporting that you all go out and buy McDonald's if you are, but you just have to don't make it like this is an art movie. This is something with real artistic credit. It's a movie. It's like one of them movies that you just watch.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, you remind me a little bit about there's this director, very famous, and I feel bad for not remembering his name. More importantly, is what he said, which goes along with what you're saying. Which he said that the Marvel movies. He's a guy that directed Gangs of New York and stuff like that. He works a lot with DiCaprio. He said, they're a lot like, he described them a little bit, kind of like you just described the Marvel movies, right? They're not like this artistic, crazy, like the Lincoln movie, right? It's more like,
right.
It's an act.
I think it's Martin Scorsese.
That's the guy. Thank you. Yeah. Did you see that? Did you see that comment?
Yeah, I think I did. Yeah, that was at some point, maybe like a year or 2 years ago, right?
Correct. Yep. And Robert Downey Jr., they were trying to, in my opinion, kind of pin him because they asked him in an interview, so what do you think about what Scorsese said, And he's like, I mean, whatever. He has his opinions over the movies. It didn't work, by the way. It didn't work to pin the what you would, some might call legendary director with, Robert Downey. And, Robert Downey's opinion was just whatever. That's his opinion. I don't agree, but, he can have his opinion over the Marvel movies. And to be fair, you're kind of, from what I've also seen online, a popular belief. Yes, these Marvel movies are awesome. Yes, for many people that grew up reading these comic books, or actually just grew up watching some of the cartoons that now are seen on the big screen, it is fun. It is nostalgic. It's like, oh my God. But is it, like you just mentioned, is it like some type of like Oscar-winning film? Is it like a Roots? But people are gonna be, what the hell's Roots? It's a movie. Go watch it. You should. 6 hours or something like that. But it's a movie. It's not. It's not. I don't think ever foresee. Hearing at the not the Grammys. I think the Grammys, the awards, whatever for movies, right? What do they call them?
The Oscars.
The Oscars. I don't ever see a Marvel movie winning one. It could, but even Black Panther, which was at least critique in a positive way for being such a one of the biggest movies in Marvel. Was it nominated for an Oscar? No. And it's not going to, because you're right. The movie, you have to take them for what they are. And these guys coming back to these cash cows is nothing more than a guy that says, I like the Marvel movie money because there's a whole bunch of fans and nerds that will go watch these movies and kids. And I like the toy money. I like this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not just about the movie. It's about the whole franchise, right? Like you said, it's not just about, I don't think anyone really... I don't know. I could be wrong. Like maybe Robert Downey Jr. emotionally invests a lot in these movies or his projects. I don't know how he works, but
possibly. I mean, they're big. I'll leave it at this. The movies might be very, very big for, very, very specific groups. Again, those that are like super fans, and of course the actors who are maybe very devoted, right? But the way some of these news media tries to, put out like it's like the news of the century, like Chris Evans comes back to be Captain America. Oh shit. Like, wow.
It's like, wow, slow news day, right?
Yeah. And it's funny, side note, speaking of slow news days, my wife earlier, we're out to get the mail, and she gets like a breaking news alert on her phone. We both have different apps. And the news was that some person who I have no idea who she is, I don't think many people will. I almost bet money right now that you won't either. A lady, I should say, from a reality TV show. I think it was like the Housewives, or something like that, right? Had a divorce. It was someone from a reality show, because I know Monica, my wife, mentioned it, and she's like, "The hell? Why is this breaking news?" No, I don't know. It's like that's how slow sometimes news is, But anyways, all right. And for that, let's move on to the next story, and that is a little bit more serious, but still actually to do with entertainment. Very briefly, we want to talk about it because it's just gonna solidify what we've been kind of critiquing celebrities and influencers and really privileged people, right, out in the entertainment world on social media. That it's like, I don't have to do things that you have to do, that you commoners have to do. And for that, we have to look at Bruce Willis, of all people. I think some diehard fans right now are going to get mad at me. Anybody catch that? No, nobody? Okay. Because Bruce Willis did Die Hard. A lot of people are like 13 right? They're like, what is that? What does he mean? So Bruce Willis, right, famously known for his movies like in Die Hard, is, according to this article here, by the BBC, and this tweet here is spotted at a store, and allegedly he himself even admitted to having an error of judgment, right? So the article here reads, the Die Hard actor, 65, was pictured entering and leaving a California pharmacy without face covering on Monday. Now, he was probably asked, right? Because as some of you guys might know, California is one of those few places in the world that is a major hotspot, at least in the United States, right? And at this point has had 2 million, right? Something like that. Cases. And of course you have people that are, I don't know, they don't believe in COVID, or they don't believe in face masks. They think that they're, oppressing their rights or oppressing them. It appears that maybe Bruce Willis is one of them. Now, to be fair, Willis was spotted wearing some type of I don't know, what do you call those things?
It kind of looks like a military kind of desert scarf or something like that, right?
Okay, Ryan, which some people have even gone as far as doing this and be like, this is my mask. And while the theory that they have is technically not wrong, they're still wearing something over their face.
The thought was there.
Yeah, sure. A forever. But, it's not a face covering. Now, the reason, by the way, I have heard that many businesses rather, establishments have denied access to people doing that is because they'll forget or they'll just drop it. But it's almost, instinct to want to uncover your face when you're not being heard, So as they're doing this, their nose is on, completely, which to be fair, some people with masks do that shit. I don't know how, but they shouldn't be. And the face mask allows you, one, to use your hands, right? And two, to not have that, again, that instinct to want to uncover. I actually went, I always have these little side notes, but side story, I went to get takeout about a week ago or two, actually, at this point. We went to go get Texas Roadhouse, and I was literally standing, waiting for my food, and there was another guy doing the same, waiting for his food, but he was doing this with the whole shirt. I don't have a shirt right now, but he had just his shirt over, right? The lady comes over, like he's like covering himself. The lady comes over to give him the food, right? It's 2 bags. What does he do actually? Exactly what I just mentioned. He's like, he had a shirt. He's looking at me, and I'm like, oh, this fucking guy. And in my head, I'm like, he's gonna drop a shirt watch. The lady comes over, and he's like, thank you.
Oh my God, no.
And it's like, in that moment, I'm like, oh, Corona. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't do that. No, but, it's that's why people, okay? For some of you guys that are saying JT is the same. I have heard people, walk around like this, like they're freaking Darth Vader, like they're freaking Bane from Batman, oh, I like the darkness. No, you have to wear a face mask. It is what it is. Everybody hates it. I've said that over and over. Bruce Willis, right. This includes you, my friend. Just because, you are the star of Die Hard and whatever, anything else you've come out on, I'm sorry, I've been in this situation, by the way, because if Bruce Willis is watching this, and he might be, right? And he's like, dude, you don't understand. I forgot it in the car. Been there. Also been there. You should see me how many times I'll walk out, I'm witching going, like, just look out of the car. And then everybody's those face masks. And then I feel like on the spot, I'm like, and everybody starts looking at you like, where are you going? They don't say that, but they look at you like, the fuck you going? And then you just freeze, like, just walk right out, or just go back to your car, And I don't get it, like, I'm sorry, Bruce Willis. No matter how much money you have in the bank, go get your face mask. Okay? Right? But anyways, that's just a little side story for everybody. If you guys want to know, and just one more opportunity for me to just shit on the rich and on the powerful. But with that, let's move on to more serious stories, or more serious news rather. Josh, what do you have for us?
Right, yeah, I was just looking. I was going through, the news as I normally do, as it's part of my job in the show, and I saw an interesting article in The Guardian that piqued my interest, and apparently, according to The Guardian, well, The Guardian, I don't know if you guys know, but it's actually seen as a more lefty kind of newspaper in the UK, but The Guardian has basically said that US police 3 times more likely to use force against left-wing protesters. Interesting, right? Because I think we've heard from one particular guy, last name T, first name D, leaving the White House in the next few days, has been saying that people from the left have been very violent, right? People at these protests that have been happening since, at least since April 2020, since the George Floyd incident. He's basically said that they've been quite violent, these people, and he's trying to justify the police violence that has happened. So basically, what would be seen as a left-wing protest would be something along the lines of Black Lives Matter demonstrations, but also pro-Biden demonstrations. So what would be seen as a right-wing protest would be the pro-Trump, pro-police demonstrations, right-wing protests against COVID public health restrictions, of course, as well as protests involving the infamous, I believe we covered this in the show before, is QAnon? Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Or Quanon?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you want to call it, whatever they call themselves. And they're conspiracy theory supporters, as well as the Stop the Steal one more recently. So that would be more of a right-wing protest in this particular study that was done. So, what do we know so far? It's actually a fact that 93% of Black Lives Matter protests that have happened since April have not actually involved any harm or any damage to property. So that is a fact, or has been reported to be a fact. I don't want to say it's a fact because I wasn't at every protest, So that's what's being reported. But we have to ask ourselves: I'm never one to be on the side of Trump. I think I've stolen that line from you, JT. I think you've said that a number of times already, and you're thinking like, if I say Trump, So, yeah. I'm not on the side of Trump for most things, but we have to look at where does this violence come from? I mean, how many times have you, JT, you tell me, how many times have you done a video where someone has done something questionable in the name of a good cause?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, tons. Yeah, it's in the name of whatever they believe, right?
Right. Sure.
Yeah, a whole bunch of times, and I think it's primarily because people have like this, at least when they get very passionate over something, they have this natural instinct to be defensive over it, right? To defend their position, right? Even when there is clear evidence that something didn't go down either legally or the way it should have gone down, right? I think it's normal no matter what side of the aisle you're around. The patriots, which are normally identified as people on the right of the political right system, they'll defend whatever it is they're doing, including burning BLM banners, to the people on the left, right? And saying, well, we also get to bring guns. And I covered even a video where you had a guy unfortunately pass away. They shot him in defense, because he had a weapon. And what happens is, they shot him when he got near a car because the person in the car, I think he was doing Uber or something, thought he was going to shoot him. And this person I'm speaking about, by the way, he was on the left, right? And at least, again, on the political agenda. And, he defended his position. And, unfortunately, it got him killed.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, to be honest, looking at both sides of the coin, as we always like to do on the JTH show, it's both sides, or any ism. I think we mentioned this in the last show as well, that any kind of ism, when anything gets to any kind of ism, socialism, extremism, communism, fascism, whatever, that's when stuff starts getting violent, dangerous, and putting other people's lives at risk. So it's kind of like America right now, socially, needs the political version of Ritalin right now. It just needs to calm down on both sides, because both sides are at each other's necks, whether it's woke millennials or it's the triggered boomers. They're at each other's throats, and that we're at a time where, I think I've heard this before, it's like we're at a time where we're the most politically tribal we have been ever, or something like that.
No, it is, at least in my lifetime, right, that I can remember. I would say that statement, cannot be closer to the truth, when it comes to feeling like right now the division that exists is not really because of race. I mean, there is some divisiveness there. It's more so because of people's political ideologies more than anything, right? Like it's like this idea that they're grabbing onto, and a lot of the times they're gravitated to because either A, they want to be the opposite of their baby boomers parents, right? Or even older parents, right? Whether maybe not specifically baby boomers, but just they feel like their parents are old and they have these like antiquated ideas. Or they want to be accepted by whatever social group they belong to. And that social group tends to be, again, on the left or the right, like always. And that's it. They feel like if I don't stand by what my buddies, my homies, my friends, my, whatever is in support of, I'm going to be an outsider, right? And it goes, and I will never get tired of saying it, right? It goes with people completely disregarding critical thinking, completely disregarding the simple, beautiful, in my opinion, fact of being an individual, being unique, being your f***ing self. Like if somebody came to me tomorrow and says, hey, so are you Republican or Democrat? Neither. What are you? First of all, it's not your business, but
I'm JT.
I'm JT, that's right. I'm more in the middle. Well, you're going to have to pick a side. Well, you're going to have to shoot me. Oh, okay, that's not a problem. Oh, yeah, I'm in Texas. People here are serious about their guns. But I mean, it sucks, And for those of you guys that don't know what we're talking about, it's an article in The Guardian with U.S. police 3 times as likely to use force against left-wing protesters, data find. So go look at the article yourself. This is not just coming out of, our own mouths here. There is actually some data now to back up, things like this. Even if, like Josh said, the Guardian tends to be more left-leaning. I mean, if there's data to back it, and the data is not being manipulated in any way, and it is true, it does suck, and I will say this, and I will add this lastly here, before we wrap up, that I do believe that police, I think inherently tend to be more conservative, right? Because they are about law and order. They are about, what is, written in law versus, possibly the, people that are in support of the opposite, right? That they are doing it to be, activists, and then unfortunately some of those groups that are being true activists for whatever cause, they do attract people that actually care nothing more, right? Or could not care less about law and order. So they go out there and they unfortunately get together with these groups of activists. And then you do see some of these riots that go on, right? Now, of course, you also have the media, whether you're watching Fox News or you're watching CNN in the United States, who are going to also give you their own interpretation of what is allegedly happening with these protests, right? You have Fox News that obviously, I think I don't have to say too much to this. It is pretty obvious, right? You don't have to take my word for it. You can go watch Fox News yourself. They're not really on the side of BLM, right? Or the left for that matter. And that's fine. That's their network. That's where they work. And then same thing can be said for CNN, right? Who typically is on the side of the left, right? But whenever they are right-wing protests, they will put him as, oh my God, people with guns everywhere. And, there's going to be a shootout any moment. Again, all things we've covered out, over and over here on the show.
Like you always say, GT, it always comes down to your, what is it? If you could put that in post.
Yeah. Nods. Yeah. I love when he goes like the ding. He misses it sometimes, but yeah.
That's all it comes down to. It is just about critical thinking, because until then it's going to be left versus white, or left versus the right, white versus black, and Trump versus reality.
Yeah. Well, that one, I think, that last one, I think is actually pretty, I don't need to use a lot of critical thinking on that one. I don't think Trump uses critical thinking either.
Nah.
I don't think that's like the last thing he uses, Is it a picture? Is it a picture? Sir, critical thinking. Is it a gram? Is it a diagram? Sir, never mind. You're going to quit on Friday anyways. Never mind, sir. Never mind. Go back to which one watching Fox News. But yeah. Anyways, I think that's the last story, right? We have?
That's it. That's it for today.
Well, guys, that is it for today. Thank you for watching. We appreciate you. We will be back here hopefully regularly. Leave a like for Josh, just for Josh. Don't even do it for me. Do it for equality. Don't do it for the brown man. Do it for Josh. He needs some encouragement. Otherwise, he's not gonna come back, guys, and I'm gonna be screwed again. But yeah, that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoy the show, and until next time, see ya. Hey, thanks for watching the JTH show. Remember, you can catch all the full episodes, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Radio Public. You can also visit www.thejthshow.com to catch episodes there, and to catch anything that we had to blur out because of YouTube or any other platform. We usually put all of our raw information in there that is uncensored. You can also become a member at www.thejthshow.com to catch all the special perks. Thanks for watching.